Hello, everyone, and welcome. You're listening to the Preserving History and Democracy podcast. My name is Caroline Zamora, and I'm the Chief Deputy County Clerk. I just want to say welcome to all of our guests today. We have Emily Burr, who is our voting registration lead. We also have Janice Giron, who is our Bureau of Elections supervisor. And we have today, who's actually on mic today.
Yeah, I have a mic today. That was okay. Last time I was cool with not having a mic.
We have Cynthia Mendoza, who is our communications coordinator. And behind camera, we have Jacob Slaughter, who edits and makes us, sound good. Yay, so thank you. Yay, Jacob. Today, we're just going to go ahead and run through updates. We are in the middle of an election. And so we wanted to do another update on elections. We did this last week. But because we love elections and elections are incredibly important and we want to give as much information to the constituents as possible, so we thought we'd do another update.
That's right. I think, we can never give too many updates. We want the public to know as much as possible about voting. And so that's what we're doing. We're giving all the information we can. Let's start with maybe when this comes out, it's going to be May 17th, and tomorrow's an important day, right, Janice?
Yeah, May 18th is a very important day. We have right now one early voting site open, which is the Government Center. But on Saturday, which is the 18th, we have 8 more sites opening up. And those are the Anthony Public Library, Corbett Center Student Union, Doñana Community College in Chaparral, Doñana Community College East Mesa Campus, Doñana Community College Sunland Park, Hatch Valley High School, Las Cruces City Hall, and Mesilla Town Hall. So the sites will be open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. And the last day for that is the Saturday before Election Day, which is June 1st.
And also just to let everyone know, those 8 additional sites are also in addition to the Government Center. So the Government Center Correct. Will remain open for expanded early voting. And the Government Center is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And then also on Saturday, June 1st, 10 to 6.
That's right. One important thing, though, May 27th.
May 27th, which is Memorial Day. Oh, yeah. All sites are closed. FYI, we're going to post about that quite a bit. We're going to try to get as much information about that out as possible. But just to let you know, on that holiday, Memorial Day, all expanded early voting sites will be closed.
Yes, ma'am.
So while we're talking about early voting, so far it's only at the Government Center. And the number as of right now is 965 people have come to vote early. So Yay. Not too bad.
Early voting. Right? Early voting. Can I tell you? So I voted yesterday.
Nice.
It took me less than a minute.
Oh, wow.
I know. And so I ran into one of the commissioners and one of our admin assistants in the hallway. And I was like, come on, guys, let's go vote. And so we had a little voting party. It was a lot of fun. It took us, literally, it took me less than a minute, to check in. So when you vote, you go, you walk up to the election official and, you verify who you are. You give your name. They might ask you for you to verify the year that you were born and then to verify your address. And that's just so that we know who you are. You don't have to provide a license or anything like that.
Only one caveat to that. Mm-hmm. If you're a first-time voter that registered by mail, you do have to provide ID.
Yes, but I'm not a first-time voter. I'm a super voter.
Not your first rodeo.
This is not my first rodeo. So I went and I verified. They print you out 2 things, okay? Again, we do have paper ballots in this state. They print you out your permit, which is the green piece of paper, and it has your name and your address on it. All your voter registration information's on that permit. And then they print out your ballot. Your ballot does not have anything that identifies you. It doesn't have your name or anything like that on it because we all voters have a right to privacy. So you get 2 things. You get your permit and you get your ballot. You go to the voting booth. You mark it. We hand you a pen. You can use your own pen if you want. You mark who you're voting for, and then you go and you insert your ballot into the voting machine, and you hand them your permit. So again, your ballot gets counted in the voting machine, and you get the fun ding. You voted, and then you hand them, and they put your permit and they file your permit. And then you get your sticker.
I was about to say, crucially, they give you your I voted sticker.
Yes.
After
It's
that.
the best part.
Love the sticker. It's my favorite. Also, again, if it's your first time voting, you get to ring the bell if you want.
Yay!
Yes, we have
Fun.
those little cowbells. And they're so cute.
Yeah.
Speaking
love
of, I
first-time
also
voting.
wanted to touch on. Sorry, I don't know if you were still.
No, go ahead.
The misconception that people have is that if you are 17, you can't vote in the primary, but that's not true, right, Emily?
So as long as you turn 18 in time for the general, which this year is going to be November 5th, yeah, if you're 17 during the primary, you still get to vote because you are going to be eligible to choose your favorite candidates when the general rolls around. You're going to be part of that entire process if you like. If you turn 18 on November 6th, you are out of luck this year, but you got some time.
Yep. Let's go ahead and touch on absentee.
Yeah.
We have a very important deadline coming up, which is May 21st. And that is the last day to submit an application to vote absentee. Absentee is basically vote by mail. But we call it absentee.
I talked to Tanya before this and I asked her how many applications we've had so far. And it's looking at like it's at 2,400 applications so far. So, yeah, you have till May 21st to submit those. Ballots started being submitted May 7th, correct? The absentee ballots?
May 7th, the ballots, the applications that we had already received, the ballots went out for those
Right.
applications.
Cool.
And then we just continue mailing.
They're going out every day.
every day.
Anything else we want to
Anything
touch
else
on
for
absentee?
Well, so there are a couple of ways to apply for absentee. The fastest way to do it is through the online portal on the Secretary of State's website, and that's going to be at nmvote.org. That's nm like New Mexico, vote.org. But if you don't have access to that website for one reason or another, there are paper request forms as well. If you wanted to come to our office and visit us and see all of our smiling faces and fill one out, that is an option. If you need us to send one to you, we can technically do that as well. But with that deadline approaching, you're going to want to get it in as quick as you can.
Yep, you only have a couple days. So go ahead and get that. Let's go ahead and talk about real quick the permanent absentee list. Because this is new this year, and I'm really excited about it because the way it used to be is you would have to reapply for your absentee ballot basically every election, which in my opinion was very burdensome for the voters, and it was not, I think, equitable for voters. And so now there's a permanent absentee list that you can register for. And basically getting on that list will notify you before the election's coming up that you're going to be receiving your ballot. And from here on out, you'll receive your ballot by mail.
That's right. The only way that changes, I believe, is if you make changes to your voter registration, like your address. It'll remove you from the list, but you can always be put back on. So all you need to do is fill out another application and mark the box, and then we'll put you back on the list.
And I believe if you apply to be on the permanent absentee list and then a few elections in the future, you go and vote in person, I think that also bumps you off the list as well. But just like Janice was saying, you can always apply to get back on it if you expect to be voting absentee for the next 2 or 6 or 17 elections, whatever works for you.
Do you want to touch on same-day registration again? I know we've talked about it several times, but it's your favorite topic, right?
I would love to. Okay, so same-day registration has rolled out here at the County Government Center. Once those expanded sites open, they are all going to have same-day registration as well. So if you're holding on for one of those sites that's closer to you, you are going to have that option. And then, of course, during Election Day, we're going to have it offered at all of our sites. But for now, it's available here at the County Government Center. And through the days that we've been open, so far, as of recording, we've gotten 32, about an average of about 4 a day, which means if you're needing to use same-day registration, maybe you need to register with one of those major parties, maybe you need to update your address, it's a really good time to do so. The lines are very short.
Yes. So as of right now, it's like I said, I voted yesterday. It took me about a minute to vote. So if you need to use same-day registration, you'll get in there pretty quick. Election Day. It's going to be busy on Election Day. So if you have to do same-day registration on Election Day, plan to be here for a while. Also, sometimes the system gets bogged down because every county is using SDR and same-day registration on Election Day. And so it could take longer on Election Day. Just giving you a little warning.
But if you do it in early voting, you can really avoid a lot of that getting bogged down. Right now, so we have an entire crew of staff here at the clerk's office that review and process those same-day registrations when they come in. And right now, there's so few far in between that our staff are like, oh, it's my turn. No, it's my turn. I want to get this SDR. So you will not have nearly the wait time as if you go on election day and you're competing with everybody else.
Yeah.
That's right. Speaking of election day, one other important thing to mention, and it's honestly going back to absentee, is that if you got an absentee ballot and you're turning it in, it has to be here in our office or turned into a voting location by 7 p.m. It can't be postmarked by then. It has to be in our office at a voting location.
Can we also maybe talk about different ways that you can submit your absentee ballot? I know you can bring it in here to our office, correct? There's also several Dropbox locations, secured locations throughout the county, and you can find those at dacelections.com. You can also take it to a voting location, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any voting location.
And those are so convenient. Our county has the most secure containers or drop boxes, but we call them secure containers because they're more secure than what the post office has. I mean, they have video surveillance, they have weather sensors, they have, what other sensors do they have? I know there's another one on there that I'm forgetting.
I think there's a sensor that tells you if the door is opened.
Yep. I get those emails.
Yep. Me too.
And so we call them secure containers because they are more secure than what the United States Post Office uses. And so we have 9 of them throughout the county. You can drop off your absentee in one of those secure containers. You can drop them off at any of our voting locations. That's during expanded early voting or on election day. We have 42 sites on election day. And so you can drop them off there. You can drop it off here at the government center. You can come to our office, drop it off. And again, that's because they have to be at a voting location or in our office by 7 p.m. on election day.
June 1st is an important day as well. It's the last day of early voting. So the Doña Ana County Government Center will be open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. that day. The expanded voting locations, as we talked about already, will be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it's also the last day to submit an application for an electronic ballot.
Emily, I'm not sure if you know, but do you want to go into a little bit of detail about what we mean by an electronic ballot?
Okay. So my understanding is the electronic ballot is for our UOCAVA voters, which means our folks who are uniformed and overseas. So that's going to be your military folks who are currently deployed, who are stationed out of the country. Obviously, it's pretty tricky for them to get to a polling location here in Doña Ana County. So they are eligible to receive an electronic ballot and then submit it electronically as well. I know a lot of folks here, why can't I vote the same way that I do my banking on my phone? And I get it, but we do reserve that particular process for folks who have absolutely no way to get here and not a lot of time to get an absentee ballot, a standard absentee ballot.
Yeah. So overseas and military voters, you can't be here in the county in order to utilize that service, but.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really great service that, of course, New Mexico does for our uniformed or civilians overseas, because as Americans, they still have a right to vote. Also, we're using, I want to touch on this, the new ballot tracker, which is called Ballot Scout. The Secretary of State's office put out a press release, I believe yesterday. And it's a way that, you can go on and track your ballot on Ballot Scout. It's a way that even our office is able to if we needed to. But it's a really great resource. And my understanding is Ballot Scout talks to USPS, and it's a way for anyone to be able to see where their ballot is.
Yeah, it basically gives you the same information that the post office has as long as the barcode on the ballot envelope has been scanned.
Yes.
So if it's been scanned, it'll tell you, when it was mailed out by our office and it got to the post office scanned it, it'll give you that information. Then it was sent on to another post office for delivery somewhere else. It'll give you that information. Gives you an anticipated delivery date.
So just to let you all know, you can go to sos.nm.gov/trackmyballot. And that is how you're able to track your ballot if you're mailing your ballot back in. Again, like Janice said, the barcode would have to have been scanned. So let's say you live in Hatch, you're mailing your ballot. First, I think it goes to El Paso. Then it makes its way to Las Cruces. And then eventually it makes its way to our office. So this is a way that you're able to track where your ballot is in that process.
Yeah. So, and if it's going through a smaller post office, sometimes they don't have barcode scanners. So you're not going to see that part. Like if you say you take it to Hatch and they don't post office and they don't have a barcode scanner, you're not going to see that it was in Hatch. You'll see the next step, like it arrived in El Paso, and they scanned it, and then another scan to send it out wherever else it needs to go.
Yeah. So this is just another great way for voters to track their ballot and make sure that their ballot made its way to our office.
And the Secretary of State also made a pretty cool video about it, and we'll be sharing that to our socials as well. So look out for that.
So as far as timing goes for the rest of this election season, just a reminder, there will not be any voting on Sundays. If you see any material saying go vote on Sunday, that material was not published by us. And there will be no voting on the Monday before the election. Even here at the County Government Center, where we will be open for normal operations, that Monday, right before an election, is always a little bit of a respite. We don't have anything happening that day because we got to get ready for Tuesday. So if you see anything published, keep that in mind. If you want to go to our website for the full source, that's going to be dacelections.com.
Absolutely. And another way to make sure that you are getting verified factual information is to look for our Doña Ana County Clerk's checkbox logo, and you'll see it's verified, fact-checked election information. So that's how you know that it's coming from our office and that it is fact-checked. Again, like Emily said, you can go to our website. You can go to all of our actually Doña Ana County Clerk social pages to get information. You can also go to the Secretary of State's website or their social pages to get factual, correct information. There are lots of third parties that are putting out information. Unfortunately, sometimes they put out wrong information, and we have no control over that. So if you want to make sure that you're getting the correct information, follow our office, call our office, go to our actual website, dacelections.com, and you'll be sure to actually get factual information.
And you mentioned the Secretary of State. I believe they also have a check.
They do. They have a verified
on
seal.
their
Yes.
their information also.
Yes, absolutely. So again, make sure that you're getting your information from correct sources, good sources. Let's talk about some other things that we heard. I know we talked about this a little bit last week, but I want to talk about it again, and that's the pens. For some reason, there is I'll call it what it is. It's a conspiracy theory about pens. You can use any pen you want. We provide pens here in our office for you to use when you're marking your ballot. If you want to use your pen, that's fine too. Use any pen you want. We've never really seen it happen. If for some reason the machine can't read a pen, which we haven't seen, we'll just put it so that it's hand tallied. Okay, so don't worry about that. It'll be your vote will still count.
That's right. Yeah,
Have you?
I mean,
ever seen
thinking
that?
back to, from what I can remember, no, I've never seen that. Our ICC scanner, which is the tabulator we run our absentee ballots through, we can even change settings on there so that it can read colored ink. So I don't think that I've ever seen them not go through because of the ink color.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And again, if we ever come up against that issue, we'll just hand tally it and it'll be fine. What's another conspiracy theory that we're hearing these days? We do have paper ballots. And I think that is one thing our office will continue to advocate for, because having paper ballots is like the gold standard. And so we have paper ballots and we will continue to use paper ballots. I know. You heard of anything crazy these days?
I did get an interesting email at the beginning of this season. I'm going to try and I want to phrase it kind of carefully because it's not a full-blown conspiracy. It was just one person being concerned and misplacing their concern. But they were having a hard time looking up their voter profile through the Secretary of State's web portal, which is a thing that you can do. If you ever need to make sure like you have the correct address, you have the correct party, you can go online and you can check your status. And this person could not find themselves. And where the conspiracy theory comes in is that they suspected that the Secretary of State had removed them and large members of their party for the purpose of tampering with the election. So like that all was demonstrably false. The issue is that...
Did you end up fighting them?
I did, yes. Yeah. The issue is that this person's name was spelled wrong on the registration that had been submitted from an outside source. Like it was not a clerical error, it was from the source. There was a spelling issue. But even then, this person had been able to vote in the last multiple elections because there are other ways of finding you in the system
so they just
when you
did
go.
Provisional, I'm assuming?
No, like this person was able to vote totally fine.
Oh, perfect.
So they had not been removed from the system at all. They just couldn't find themselves in the search function because you spell your name exactly the way that you're supposed to. And then if there's a misspelling, it's not going to find you. And so if that happens, if you submit a new registration, we can change it, no problem. But the Secretary of State, the governor, the county clerk, none of these people remove large swaths of people just for fun. There are processes by which a person might be removed from the rolls if they are having their mail bounced back and they're not voting for a long time. So if that describes you, maybe, like, continue to check the portal to see if you're in the system. But all you have to do is update your registration and you're back to active, no problem. No one is permanently out of the voter rolls unless you pass away. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if they want to check that, it's nmvote.org, right?
That's right. NM, like New Mexico, vote.org.
Yep. And sample ballots are also available on there, correct?
That's true, which is also a way to verify that what you expect to be on the ballot is going to be on the ballot. This is especially useful if maybe you've moved and you haven't updated your registration since then, because where you live determines your precinct, which determines who's on your ballot, right? And so seeing that online gives you the head start of, oh, when I go to the site, I need to use same-day registration. I'm not at 123 Main Street anymore. I'm at 456 whatever street. I need to get that fixed.
So it's pretty cool. The other day, me and Clarissa were going on our walks, and some lady from Health and Human Services saw us, and she's like, "You guys work at the clerk's office, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Is there any way to see like who's going to be on my ballot before I go vote?" And I told her about nmvote.org, and she was so fascinated by it, and she said she's been telling all her coworkers about it. So it's pretty cool. That's available.
Yeah.
And a perfect question too, like, is there a way to do this? Well, let me tell you about it.
I was so excited to tell her. I'm like, let me tell you. So she's been telling all her coworkers about it. They were wearing their I voted sticker the other day. So I was like, I love that.
I love that too. Oh, that warms my heart.
Oh, and I voted a couple of days ago as well, and I saw that we still have some of our limited edition I voted stickers
that's
from
right.
last year. So if you want one of those, which was the design was chosen by it was designed and then voted on by staff members here. It's not just the classic I voted, although if you like the classics, then there's certainly no harm there. We have loads of those. But if you want one that's a little bit newer and a little bit more colorful, we do have that also.
Yeah, and so we did, that was a really fun initiative that we did here at the county. We did a competition, and we had a lot of people from throughout the county, all the different departments submitting their design. And then we even had a voting. So all county staff were able to come to our office. We had a box out there. And so they were able to mark their ballot, put it in the box. And we had it was a lot of fun.
And if I remember correctly, that was a ranked choice voting situation.
It was a ranked
too.
choice.
It was like a great demonstration of how that process is supposed to work.
Because it was before the RLE, before the regular local, which we have ranked choice voting in the city of Las Cruces. And so that was a lot of fun. And then one of our clerk staff won. Yeah. Her name's Jackie, and she won. And so it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we still have some of those. If you get down here during early voting, you might be able to pick one up.
You better be quick about it.
I've seen them down there on the table, but they're almost gone.
They're almost gone. Yeah.
I got to go vote today then.
And so any other updates y'all can think about that we should go ahead and chat about?
I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Should we talk about the big day, June 4th?
Mm-hmm. June 4th is election day. Just so you all know, it's, this is a primary year. So the even numbered years, we have 2 elections. Odd numbered years, we have only 1 election. There are consolidated elections in New Mexico. So every November, like clockwork, we will have an election. It used to be there were elections all year long. they'd be like in
Yeah,
February
they all
and
used
May
to be
and
separated.
June.
So like
Yes.
school board elections,
Yeah.
water board elections, municipal elections, they were all separated, and now we've combined them all.
And that
into
just felt
one.
like such a burden to the voters. Just voters having to be informed like all year long. I personally think that was very, very burdensome for the voters. So I love that New Mexico's moved to consolidated elections. So like I said, we like clockwork, every year New Mexico will have an election, whether it's a regular local election or a general or a midterm, things like that. And so I think that's much easier for the voters.
Definitely.
Yeah. One other thing that we wanted to talk to you all about is becoming an election official. So I just want to let everyone know that elections are really great. They're fun. If you want to be an election official, we encourage that. In fact, here at our office, we're having a potluck today. We're recording this on Thursday. We're having a potluck with our staff today. Tomorrow down the hall, the election officials who are running early voting here at the government center are having a potluck, and they have so much fun down there. Of course, when there's not voters, because voters, we have great customer service and we give them our undivided attention. But when there's not a voter in there, the election officials are doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, right now they're putting together a huge puzzle. I believe it's Batman.
It looks
And
so cool.
It looks really cool, but super complicated.
Very complicated, yeah.
But yeah, we just want them to have fun and want to come back
Absolutely.
and help you guys with voting. And
Yes. So our office, we have about 35 staff members. We cannot man 42 locations. So when we tell people that elections are run by our community, they really are. Election officials are people who live their life in our community. I love elections because you get to see family, you get to see friends, you get to see people from your neighborhood, maybe people you went to church with, people you grew up with, and they're coming in to vote, and you see them at the voting locations. And that's what I think is fun about serving as an election official. Also, we've gotten them raises recently. I know our clerk, Dr. Amanda Lopez-Askin, was very instrumental in getting them. I think a few years ago they were making $10 to $12. Now they're making $12 to $15.
that's right, for early voting, yes. And even for election day, their pay has gone up.
Their pay went up for election day, yeah.
Presiding judges, I believe, were making between $200 and $250, and now they're at $400.
Yeah.
So
And so I'm glad that we were able to do that, and that our clerk was instrumental in making that happen for our election officials. If you want to be an election official, especially our young people, I encourage our young people who are 16 or 17 to become election officials. One, there's no more school on election day anymore. Yay. So you're already kind of out of school. And what better way to make a couple $100? Also to be civically engaged and to just, I think if they work an election, they're more likely to vote when they get older.
yes, and you don't have to be 18 to work the
Exactly.
election. At 17, we can place you at a site as a clerk, so you can look up voters and print ballots for them, and you can be involved in the process just as much as anyone 18 or over.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So if you're 16 or 17, you can also work with your parents' permission, right?
Yes.
So pretty cool. I mean, it's a nice way to make some extra money,
Yeah, definitely. So no school and money.
right?
Yeah.
Win-win.
What's great about this year we have 2 elections, right? So we have the primary, so they can work, we're coming up on summer. They can get some extra cash for the summer. And then if you want to work during the general, which is November, some extra cash for the holidays is really nice too. I love seeing like a young person, like a 17-year-old working at a site with their parent. I think that's actually really cool, really fun. Just getting to hang out and kind of be civically engaged with their parent that day is also really fun.
Love that. That's awesome.
What other fun things do we want to talk about?
I mean, we mentioned the potluck happening down the hall, but we are having a potluck here today.
Oh, they're torturing us today.
What'd
It
you guys
smells
bring?
like brisket, like right outside my office.
I pitched in for the brisket.
Okay,
but
that
so now
works.
I'm like, hey, I pitched in for it.
You're like, I get first dibs on
go
brisket.
out there and get a plate.
Janice, it's right next to my office, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
it
it's
smells
torture
so
me
good.
all morning.
It's right next to your office. It's right next to my open cubicle.
Yes.
Me too. Yeah. So
All of that scent
love
just
that.
wafting at me.
Yeah.
We're celebrating National Barbecue Day.
Yes.
But yesterday was National Chocolate Chip Day, which is why I brought chocolate chip cookies. So
Oh, that's why
Love
we had
it.
cookies. Yes.
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we
love
gotta
that.
cover all of our bases.
Yes. Yes.
I brought some banana pudding because I was making a cake.
I
know.
love
Cynthia's banana
pudding.
pudding is really
It's
good.
famous here, so.
Yeah.
But I was going to make a cake, and unfortunately I didn't end up working out. So banana pudding was my safe, I guess, my safe
I'm going to
choice.
go buy some rolls later. I'm gonna buy some rolls so we can make some brisket sandwiches. Yep. All right. Well, I think that's about it. Thank you all for listening today. Again, if you want to learn more about elections, go to dacelections.com, or you could go to the Secretary of State's website, which is nmvote.org. You can also call our office if you have any questions. And I want to thank our guests, Emily Burr, who is our voter registration lead, Janice Giron, who is our Bureau
Go
of
vote.
Elections. Go vote! Yes, Bureau of Elections supervisor, and Cynthia Mendoza, who is our communications coordinator. Behind camera, we have Jacob Slaughter, who is also a producer, and he makes all the magic happen with editing and making sure that we have great content and for you all, so that you all are informed. So I just want to thank our team. They do an amazing job. Please go vote. We love voting. We love to see voters out there. And thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.